The House will come to order. Today, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Representative Flannel, House District 14.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Bacon, Barone, Basenecker, Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker,
Excused.
Bottoms, Bradfield, Bradley, Brooks, Brown, Representative Brown,
Excused.
Caldwell, Camacho, Carter, Representative Carter is excused. Clifford, DeGraff, Duran, English. Rep English is excused. Espinoza, Ferre. She's there. Flannel, Froelich, Garcia, Garcia Sander, Gilchrist, Goldstein, she's there. Gonzalez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Jackson.
Quiet, please.
Rep Jackson is excused. Johnson. Representative Johnson. Joseph. Kelty. Leader. Lindsay.
Here.
Luck. Lukens. Mabry. Marshall. Martinez. Morrow. She's here. Oh, yeah. McCormick. Wynn. Pascal. Phillips. Richardson. Ricks. Representative Ricks.
Excused.
Rutinel. Ryden. Sirota. Representative Sirota.
Excused.
Slaw. Smith. Rep Soper is excused. Stewart K. Stewart R. Representative Stewart R.
Excused.
Story. Sukla. Sure. Hey. Taggart. Titone. Representative Titone. Is excused. Valdez A. Velasco. Representative Velasco.
Excused.
Weinberg. Wilford. Rep Wilford. No. It's excused. Winter. Morning. Woodrow. Woog. Zokai. And Madam Speaker.
Here. With 55 present, 10 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Flannel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the Journal of Friday, February 20th, 2026 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, I know you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the chief clerk. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it. The motion is adopted. Members, please take your seats. We are moving into announcements and introductions. Representative McCormick, thank you for signing
Madam
up.
Speaker. Attention all those on House Agriculture, Water, and Natural Resources Committee. We have a change of venue today. We will be meeting in the Old State Library at 1:30. We also have a change in sequence. We will be hearing House Bill 1184 first, then House Bill 1008, then House Bill 1011 in that order. So remember, Old State Library.
Thank you, Representative. Assistant Minority Leader Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning. Please, I just want to let everybody know, please join us for our monthly Legislative Nuclear Caucus. Speakers Matt Solomon, we're going to talk about exploring Colorado's pivotal role in the DOE Nuclear Lifestyle Innovation Campus. You know, this is a bipartisan caucus where we're splitting atoms, not parties.
I love that. That's really good. Nice. Representative Bradfield.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I came down here with my $1 because I forgot to sign up. So I just want to let you all know that Bible study tomorrow, 7:15, room 0109. Hope you can come. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Woodrow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, members. Happy Monday. This is just to let you know that the House Committee on Finance will be meeting at 1:30 p.m. in room 112 to hear 3 bills. I know your calendar says 4, but it's lying to you. 3 bills, 1014, 1065, and 1066 in that order. See you then.
Thank you. Representative Phillips.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm excused from March 6th for a really great reason. You can ask me and I'll tell you about it.
So approved. Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's Rio Blanco County Day at the Capitol. We have Meeker High School here and Rangeley Middle School here, so say hello if you see them in the Capitol.
Woohoo! Representative Espinoza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd also like to announce we have Movimiento Poder in the building today, and I just met with North High School students, and I believe there's students from all sorts of high schools around the around the metro area and probably larger areas. They have black t-shirts with white lettering. Watch out for them, and please welcome them here to the Capitol today with a lot of good high school students visiting. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Clifford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will pay my fine because I like for our staff to party. The State Civic, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee will meet at 1:30 today. We will be hearing a number of bills related to elections. House Bill 1113, 1088, 1104, 1080, 1137, and 1084.
Thank you, Representative. AML Bacon.
Thank you, members. When you see a bunch of beautiful African-American women in red, please say hello to them. They are Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who has been around for 113 years to advocate for issues that impact our community. So if you see them, please say hello.
Thank you. Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today's hidden figure, as presented to you by the Black Caucus, we will be talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the class of 1986. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's inaugural class of 1986 was groundbreaking, not only because it was the first group of artists ever inducted, but also because it prominently honored black musicians who were foundational to the creation of rock music. This first class included 6 black legends: Chuck Berry, James Brown, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Fats Domino, and Little Richard, alongside other influential figures like Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, and the Everly Brothers. By recognizing so many black pioneers in its very first year, the Hall of Fame acknowledged the central role that black artists played in shaping rock and roll and its cultural impact. These musicians not only broke artistic ground, but also opened doors for future generations of black artists and popular music, helping to ensure that their contribution would be remembered and celebrated in the broader story of American music. Those are your hidden figures for today.
Thank you. All right, members, it looks like that is the end of announcements and introductions. We do have business. Please take your seats. Members, I will ask you to wrap up your conversations. Please take your seats. We are about to begin third reading. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1071.
House Bill 1071 by Representatives Morrow and Duran, also Senator Cutter, concerning allowing a local government to locate an automated vehicle identification system on an interstate highway.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1071 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1071 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Slaw. Representative Slaw is excused with a $1 fine. Please close the machine. With 37 aye, 22 no, and 6 excused, House Bill 1071 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1034.
House Bill 1034 by Representatives Johnson and Lukens, also Senator Pelton R., concerning modifications to environment standards for certain irrigation equipment.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1034 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1034 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Please close the machine. With 59 aye, 1 no, and 5 excused, House Bill 1034 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title. Oh, please close the machine. Please read the title to House Bill 1070.
House Bill 1070 by Representatives Hartsook and Brown, also Senators Judah and Frizzell, concerning third-party network lease agreements for dental services.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1070 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1070 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Please close the machine. With 48 aye, 12 no, and 5 excused, House Bill 1070 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1136.
House Bill 1136 by Representatives Lukens and Martinez, also Senator Lindstedt, concerning the creation of the Pathways to Public Service program in the Department of Personnel.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1136 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1136 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Wilford, please close the machine. With 40 aye, 21 no, and 4 excused, House Bill 1136 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 10.
Senate Bill 10 by Senators Roberts and Pelton B., also Representatives McCluskey and McCormick, concerning clarification of definitions used in connection with the taxation of agricultural property.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 10 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 10 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative DeGraff. Please close the machine. With 61 ayes, 0 no, and 4 excused, Senate Bill 10 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 52.
Senate Bill 52 by Senators Roberts and Catlin, also Representatives Lukens and Morrow, concerning cold transition communities and in connection therewith, providing a hiring preference for cold transition workers in cold transition communities and expanding the allowable ways in which a public entity may deposit or invest just transition money.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 52 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, sponsors, for fighting for your communities, for fighting for my community. I have Morgan County, who is a coal transitioning area, and this vote was very difficult. We need to protect our workers in Colorado. There's no doubt about that. But at what point in this body are we going to slow down? When we looked at this in 2013, and again in the following years, as we looked at shutting down these coal plants because we're trying to go in a very fast pace to net zero for carbon input, we warned that this was going to put jobs out. We also had the Just Transition Program to help with these workers that were going to lose their jobs because of a government decision. We keep doing this in the body. We're looking at energy, transitions as opposed to energy additions based on what works for all of our communities, what works for the farmers, because energy and ag are together as one, but also for the workers, for the families. And this is a Band-Aid fix to what government has caused. But this is very hard because we need to support the workers that we've offset in this building, but we can't make this a green light that we can keep doing this and come back to fix the problem as government fixing the problem. We need to slow down, let industry catch up, and not misplace our workers. We're back in a situation where we need to come forth with a bill to save our families and our businesses. I would love for Colorado to prosper for business communities, not for us to have to chase our tail every single time just to keep what we have already. We're not growing, we're barely maintaining because of the policies through this building. For my county and Morgan County and the counties around it, because they are transitioning from these coal and they've been displaced because of the decisions made from this body, I will be a yes, but this is a very tough one. This is not a sign that we can keep doing this. We need to slow down and stop hurting our workforce.
Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All right. So here we are once again trying to cover up for bad policy. No surprise. When we had the SMART hearing, which is really a kind of a funny name for something where we only do the pretense of transparency and accountability, one of the things that I asked the CDPHE was for something that was built into the law back in 2019, and that is that all of these climate goals, these scientifically based climate goals, which nobody knows what they are. I mean, you do now because it's everybody should know by now that your carbon footprint is less than 1/2 of one drop in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools full of drops. And if you really want to get a perspective of that, this room is roughly 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools of volume. So that would be roughly 1/2 of one drop in 6 of these rooms. That's your carbon footprint. That's what you're trying to save with all of this stuff. And what you're doing with these climate goals is you've just devastated the economy. You've devastated the livelihood of an entire community. And then you want to come in here and throw pittance at them and then pretend like you're doing something like you care. Like I said, just like the SMART hearing is the pretense of transparency, this bill is the pretense of caring. It's not caring. It's throwing something at people that you are in the process of throwing away, and these coal miners built this state. At one point, we had an appreciation for the industries that built this building and built this state. And now we throw them away, and then we say, here's some crumbs with a whole nother government program. And we know where this government program is going to go. It's going to go into the grift of this room. That's where the money goes. It goes into further grift. The people who are not going to be helped are the people that it's supposed to help. And then you're going to say something like, hey, maybe you should go be a computer programmer or something else that's being replaced by AI. Maybe you should move to the governor's urban corridor where everybody can walk 15 minutes to work. Coal workers are the backbone of this society. Mining, agriculture, those are the real economies. Manufacturing, those are the real economies. What goes on in Denver is all built on those economies. We're talking about our foundational economies, and we're talking about the people that really, really make this society work. And you've kicked them to the curb, and now you want to throw crumbs at them. So when I asked about the climate goals from CDPHE and the pretense of transparency, CDPHE has absolutely, and these goals are required in the 2019 legislation, CDPHE has absolutely no idea what their climate goals are. None. They don't even know what a climate goal is. Now, I told you what your carbon footprint is, and if we do something really crazy, like consider that this bogeyman of carbon dioxide is 100% responsible for the 33 degrees Celsius that keeps us between the outer, which distributes, is by which all of the heat on Earth is distributed, and you say that carbon dioxide is 100% responsible for that bit of 33 degrees Celsius, and then you take Colorado's 0.1 billion tons created in a year, 100 million metric ton, or 100 million tons, but then you compare that to 3,300 billion tons that are in the atmosphere. And it's a really easy thing of math to do. You just take 100%, which is just 1, times 33 degrees Celsius, and then you multiply it by the ratio, 0.1 over 3,300, and you get 0.001. So if you look degrees Celsius, and now you consider that your day goes by at approximately 1 degree Celsius per hour every hour. And then you wait 1/1000th of an hour, 3.6 seconds. There we go. That transition, that 3.6 seconds, 0.001 degrees Celsius, that temperature change is why you have kicked the coal workers in the teeth.
Representative DeGraff, you
Ma'am, I
may
didn't-
disagree with the policy, but the policy is not kicking anyone in the teeth.
No, ma'am, you are correct.
Please.
The general policy of the climate goals that the governor has imposed through this body for the benefit of the green grift has kicked these coal workers in the teeth. And this is basically throwing some crumbs at them and seeing if, hey, maybe you can chew on these because we kicked out all your teeth.
Representative DeGraff, please don't double down on this metaphor. Let's move on. Please focus on the bill. Thank you.
The bill is creating another program that will go to government grift, that will not help the people that it's pretending to help. It's just a little bit of a self-pat on the back so you can feel good about what has been done to this industry, what has been done to the backbone of this state. So I can't vote for a program that is just going to contribute more to the grift, because that's where, until we do some zero-based budgeting in this room, there is far too much money going to grift, and we know where the grift ends up ultimately in November. So this is unfortunate. I don't want to be voting against our coal miners in any way, shape, or form, but this is not going to help them. This is pretending to help them. If you really want to help them, you go back and you tell the governor, justify your climate goals, put some actual numbers behind them, and stop imposing them on Colorado, driving up our prices, driving up our energy prices, driving these individuals out of work. So until that point, to the coal workers, I appreciate you. I'm sorry not everybody does, but I'm going to keep working for making some realistic changes that are based on reality, not on this noise of trying to, not on this virtue preening of wanting to feel like we're helping people that we have knocked down. So I'm going to be a no on this.
Representative Garcia Sander.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So to me, I guess I hear, I was in committee and heard the arguments for this bill, and there's so much compassion that goes out to the coal workers and the rail workers and everybody involved in the coal transition to green energy. And I'm sorry that Colorado has killed the golden goose. I mentioned it in our committee hearing, but this is a prime example of today's solution being tomorrow's problem. Way back when we decided to kill our golden goose of natural gas and coal energy, we've seen the dominoes fall, and we're seeing all the problems that have come from that, including huge budget deficit, because we don't have the revenues that we should have from our oil and gas severance taxes. And I guess, to me, the bigger concern that I had with this bill was really that government is now telling private businesses, not state government or local government, private businesses who they need to prefer to hire. And that, to me, is a problem. As somebody who's been on the hired and hiring end, I certainly appreciate that there should be lots of qualified coal workers and coal related workers that have lots of skills that would put them at the front of the hiring pack anyway. But for the government to then require a covered business to consult with the Just Transition Office and present reports once a year on their hiring practices, I think that's a big concern. And again, I think that is another example of today's solution being tomorrow's problem. The government is telling private businesses who they should prefer to hire. So for that reason, I will be a no vote.
Representative Sukla.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So this is a very interesting bill. I have two of these such communities in my district. I have up in Palisade, or not by Palisade, Peonia. We have a coal mine that's going to be shutting down soon, and it's going to lay off 100 and some workers. We also have the one that is really dear to my heart. They're both dear to my heart, but the one that hits me the most is in Nucla, Natarita. And in Nucla, Natarita, there is no, I talked about this in committee, there is no trains, there is no freeways. There is every business that it's talking about that they could be preferred to get hired is going to have to be, they got to move away. So when they gave them their first $2.8 million, they used it for infrastructure in the towns. And then after they gave them that money, they put water systems in. But now I'm concerned about this. To me, this looks like affirmative action. What they're doing is they are telling a business, you will hire this person based on the testimony of the witnesses. So what was interesting about the witnesses that was in this committee, a lot of those people represented organizations that actually shut down the coal mine. So those people that were testifying for this bill are the ones that caused the bill in the first place, which was very concerning. This deal where you're going to tell a private business that they have to hire a certain person, but not a government official, that they have to hire a certain person, that looks like it's not a property right, but it's an individual right, owning that business of hiring the person that is best for the job, and not the person that those people, in my opinion, that were in that committee testifying for this bill are the ones that created the bill in the first place. This hits home. Nucla was a town of 1,000 people probably, and they came in and they said, uranium's no good, uranium's no good. So they shut down the uranium mines, and then the town went into half. After they shut down the uranium mines, they said, well, let's build a coal plant and we'll keep you all working. And so they built the coal plant, and then they shut it down, and they said, well, what we're gonna do, the coal plant was on 10 acres. What was the footprint on a river? Nobody even knew where that coal plant was there. They said, well, we're gonna shut your coal plant down on this 10 acres, but up there in this beautiful mountain, up by Lone Cone Mountain, there's a field out in the middle of the trees, beautiful, beautiful country. We're gonna put 600 acres of solar panels up there in this beautiful place. Well, the community, they went crazy about this, and they're like, no, you're not gonna go destroy our beautiful landscape and put this 600 acres in when you already had just 10 acres for the energy power. And now here we are with this bill that, in my opinion, I feel so sorry for the people of Nucla. I feel so sorry of what we've done to you people. And I feel ashamed, actually, that it's come to this. We're going to give you 5 cents when you lost your whole livelihoods. I'm going to vote no. Thank you.
Assistant Minority Leader Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. I guess this is the great thing about America is we can all agree to disagree at some points, and I respect all of my caucus that have gotten spoke about this topic. At the end of the day, I represent real people, and I represent real people that are going through this, and it makes it unfortunate because I say this over and over again at the WOW, and I don't want to lose the attention of my colleagues because I respect you all, but this is legislation that is passed to have put these people in this position. Main Street's closing up, funding for schools, funding for water projects, funding for roads. Small town Colorado's dying. And what makes it really hard is I'm constantly talking to my county commissioners and they're talking about OEDIT and trying to beg people to bring jobs into rural Colorado. And we face a special set of needs that nobody else faces, especially Metro legislators. It's hard to get teachers to come into rural Colorado because there's not places to get something to eat after 7 o'clock at night. And you get a guy that just graduates from medical school, and it's hard to get him to come into Bent County because maybe him and his wife, he went to medical school in New York City, and there isn't a place open after 5 o'clock. And we face so many different issues that you all don't face, and all of our issues are issues, but they're different. You know, I come from Los Animas County, and that's, in my opinion, the coal mecca of Colorado. Most of the steel that's been in this state, most of the barbed wire that's been built in this state was built in Pueblo. Proud people, the steel town, Los Animas County. I mean, coal mining, our high school is the miners, the Trinidad miners, and their identity was taken from them. And they're tired of begging for businesses to come in because we have industry. And that's what makes this hard is right now we're suffering and people are trying to create art districts and Trinidad's trying to become the new Santa Fe and we're losing our identity and our people are losing their identity. I mean, at that time, I mean, the UMWA was so strong in Los Animas County and that was the identity of the county were the people that put in that work and we had the Ludlow Massacre and we've been through so much and that's an identity of people. And we talked about lived experiences. But what about their lived experience? What about that identity? Back to talk about Pueblo again. I mean, do you know how proud the people are? Two things the people are proud of. That's steelworkers and veterans, and for right reasons. The Office of Just Transition, I've got up here on this mic before, I call it the Office of Unjust Transition as much as I can because taking somebody from something or something from somebody and taking their industries and then trying to weave and push them into whatever direction you want to go, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with what's put them here. But on the other hand, I represent people. I'm a Republican. I represent Democrats and independents. And I represent real people that have been affected by the legislation that have put this bill on the table. I will not turn my back on those people. I can't. Some of you all can justify your votes based on the district that you live in, and I respect you for that. But I live in Los Animas County. I see my main street shutting down. I work for the people of Pueblo. And I see how disheartened that they are that they have to beg industry to come in when they have a thriving industry and the infrastructure there. Whether you like him or not, we have a president right now who wants to make American steel, and we can mine the coal in my county and in Huerfano County, and we can make the steel in Pueblo, Colorado, and we can once again be a huge economic driver in the state of Colorado. But nobody will back off the end goal, and at the end goal, people are getting pitched out of the car all along the way. And I'm tired of my people getting pitched out of the car. Then it was the oil and gas workers. Now it's the farmers and ranchers fighting for their life of legislation coming through this building. At what point does it stop? When all of us have to move here for jobs and to go to school and because there's no services down where I live anymore? So does this bill put me in a tough spot? Yeah, this bill puts me in a tough spot. It puts people versus policy, people over political ideology. But these are the times we have to make hard decisions in this building. And I want to say this, I do not judge any of my colleagues on either side for the decision that you're going to make. But today I'm going to vote for my people. Today I'm going to vote for the people of Los Animas County, and I'm going to vote for the people of Pueblo County, and I'm going to vote for the people of every coal-impacted community in this state. And I want to say that vote prefaces on the bad legislation that's been passed in this building. And is this somewhat of a Band-Aid? Yes. But they've got to eat dinner too. They've got to eat dinner too. But I have asked for 4 years, and I have asked my colleagues over and over again, passing legislation to fix problems in the metro area exasperates rural problems. I see you all fight for your people. Everybody's fighting for their nugget. I understand that. We talk about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in here all the time. Well, what makes you happy and the pursuit of your happiness may infringe on somebody else's happiness and their freedoms. So an ideology out of this building should not be able to infringe on the rights of my people to make a living, to fund their schools, to fund their roads, to put that food on the table. And then here we are today. At some point, when I'm back here in 2 years, I'm going to stand up here and you're probably all going to be able to recite what I say and probably do inside rooms and laugh at me. I've seen the bingo card, and Representative Winter is House District 47 from rural Colorado. I'm proud to be that on the bingo card. But I've offered for you all to come into my district, and I have had representatives who have come, and I appreciate you for it. And I know that you see the world a little bit different than you did before because you've said it to me. You've been to the school where there's 25 kids pre-K through 12. You've been to the rancher's house that isn't the Yellowstone rancher, and he still lives in a 2-bedroom home on a 5th-generation piece of ground. You're hearing their stories. But now's when I ask you to take action. I have stepped in the middle of this fray a few times already this year. I'm willing to get shot in the back for my people. I'm willing for people to throw mud at me for doing what is right. I don't look at this as capitulation. I look at this as me. My job is to convince you to work with me to save my people and save their industries. That's important to me. I'm not here for political pandering. I'm not here for I got you moments. I am here to represent the 88,000 people of House District 47 to the best of my ability. And if that means taking crossfire from both sides, guess what? I will stand in that gap and stand in the middle every day of the week. Because I'm up here for my wife, my kids, my grandparents, the people that came before me, our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, the people that built this state. Denver's a cow town. Denver's a mineral town, and people have forgot that. My people helped build this state. My people feed you. My people clothe you, and my people heat your homes. And the resources to build this state are now gone, and so are their jobs. And they're making it harder to put clothes on your back through the legislation that comes out of here. It's getting harder to grow beef and food out of the legislation that comes out of here. And heating your homes is important, and we have seen that. The legislation that comes out here is making it harder to heat your homes. So today I will be a yes on this. But I ask my colleagues, please, understand the real-world consequences of what is happening. I hear your stories. A lot of you are here because at one time the shoe was on the other foot. And you feel like you were stepped on and pushed on and not heard and not seen and not looked at. But let us not forget, when we get in power, we're not supposed to be the thing that we were fighting against.
AML Winter, you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please do not turn into what you are fighting against just because you don't share a zip code, just because you don't have to look those people in the face. I wish you guys could go with me on my 9 town halls. I wish you could see that. Please, start standing with me. Start standing with rural Colorado. Not just in voice, but in action. Because if I'm willing to step here, I challenge the next person to step with me. This is twice now. Actually, a few times in the last 4 years. So I ask you, start to step with me. Start to step for rural Colorado. Start to step for my people. Thank you.
Minority Leader Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is a tough decision for me for all the reasons that our caucus has laid out. I mean, you've heard members from our caucus on both sides making great arguments of why government shouldn't be telling private businesses that they should give preference to certain classes of people. And then you heard the assistant minority leader here get up and give a great argument for why it's necessary in certain instances. And that's where I fall. So I imagine over the last year or so, I've explained to you that I come from a coal mining family in southeast Kentucky. My dad was a coal miner. My uncles were coal miners. My papaw was a coal miner. My great papaw was a coal miner. A lot of my cousins, coal miners. And when you live in an area, in a community that is built around a certain industry, like coal in southeast Kentucky, and you see different administrations come and go, you see the changes in the ebbs and flows of that community. So I can tell you, when you have certain that are pro-coal, I'll call it, administrations in office, things are booming. You've got your family members, they've got jobs in the mines, or they're truck drivers for the mines, or they work on the strip jobs for the mines, or they work at the local grocery store. When you go down to town, when you go to the local mall, the stores are full. They're not empty with the closed gates. You know, the town is booming, and people have jobs, and people are proud. And you actually see the drug rates down because people have a purpose. They have jobs. They're in their communities. They're working every day. They're providing for the families. Babies are being born left and right because people have jobs and can support those growing families. And then when you see policy come in and more what I would call anti-coal policy come in, the coal mines get shut down. People lose their houses. They lose their cars. The local store that is servicing and providing services to those coal miners that have jobs, they close down. You go to the mall. The malls, half the stores are closed because they're catering to a certain community, the coal community there. And if the coal community is out of a job, then they don't have money to go and spend at those local stores, at those malls. And so I've seen this throughout my life, what government policy does to communities that rely on specific industries. And I want to point out that my assistant minority leader, I mean, he hit the nail on the head. And I think regardless of how members of my caucus vote, whether it's yes or no, I think we're all on the same page on this is the perfect example of the old saying, and I don't know who to attribute this to. I don't know who said it first, but the government breaks your legs, they give you a crutch, and then they say, see, without the government, you wouldn't be able to walk. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We have broke the legs of these communities with these coal miners, and now we're saying, well, here's, as one of my colleagues said, here's a Band-Aid. Here's a crutch. This is the government coming to the rescue. This is the government helping you get back on your feet with this bill. But the reason they need help in the first place is because of the policies that we passed here in this legislature prior, before I was here, before probably a lot of us were here. And so with that, members, this is a bill I feel that I would normally be a no on. But having grown up in one of these communities, these coal communities, and seeing what happens when government regulation puts the community out of business, that for me, I have to side with those people because those are my people. Maybe not here in Colorado because I come from a Kentucky coal mining family, but I've seen what it does. I've seen what happens. And so for that, I will be a yes, but I want to make clear that I can understand my members from whether they're yes or no on this, because I can understand the argument of the government telling private industry that they have to give certain preferential treatment to certain classes of people. But at the same time, I can't look those coal miners in the face because they remind me of my family, my people, and I've seen what they went through. And if we can do something to help them, whether we agree in principle or not on that that method of it. I have to be able to look them in the face. My House District 20 isn't a coal community, but you know, when we pass laws here, we're passing laws on behalf of everybody in the state. And so for that, I will be a yes. I can't say it enough that the reason that we feel the need to even have to have this legislation is because of prior legislation that put those communities in the situation they're in now. So with that, I'll be a yes, and I appreciate it.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I rise in opposition to this bill. I do not believe that you can make right a wrong by doing another wrong. It was wrong for this body to shut down the oil and gas industry in the way that they did in 2019. Shortly thereafter, this body created the Just Transition Office to try to minimize and mitigate the harm that was caused by overriding the will of the people at the ballot by passing Senate Bill 19181. And since that time, this body has continued to try to mitigate the harm that has been seen and that doesn't seem to be minimizing. It's continuing forward because you can't kill an entire industry and that not have long-standing repercussions. And that is a wrong that needs to be made right, but it needs to be made right from the source. It needs to be made right by going back to the original decision and changing it. It should not be made right by making a new wrong. And in this bill, you are making a new wrong by forcing people to engage in certain behavior. You're infringing upon their associational rights to hire the people that they would desire to hire on whatever criteria they particularly have. You're infringing upon the free market. You're infringing upon them as commercial actors who now have additional red tape and burdens to overcome. I too am from rural Colorado. I too have grocery stores that close early. You better get there or you're not going to get food. I get it. I also understand that we take care of our own. And so if you have a competent employee who is applying for a particular job, who has this background, it is unlikely that that person will not be selected. But forcing it, saying that merit has to go out the window, that all other considerations have to be put aside in order for this to rise to the predominance, that's an infringement upon those businesses' ability to decide what is actually best, what will work for their particular needs. This body can't account for all of the variabilities of that. Yes, real people have been impacted. Real people are impacted every day by the black and white pages that we pass out of this chamber, or don't. That's a given. But I think it's really important for us to realize that when we want to solve problems, we need to look at what the crux of the problem is and solve that without continuing to create new problems because we don't want to go back to that original point. You cannot make right or wrong by doing another wrong. This bill, in my opinion, is wrong, and I will be a no.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm sitting back. I'm not sure how I feel about this bill. I have a lot of mixed emotions on it. I know how a lot of my people in my district feel about bills like this and the bill that caused this bill to actually have to happen. It's almost like they're getting hit, and then they're getting loved on, and then they're getting hit, and then they're getting loved on, and they're getting hit and hit and hit. And for me, that's very much like an abusive relationship. And I know that my people in my district feel they are in an abusive relationship with the state of Colorado and the legislature, the things that we're doing to them, whether it's from small business to housing, to crime, to taking away entire industries that are, devastating communities. It's not just a life or two, it's communities you're destroying. And I ask what's next. When will that stop? When are we going to stop passing legislation that's going to have cause us to come up with bills like this that try to fix the wrong that you've done? We're messing with people's lives. The legislation that comes through here, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that was mentioned before. Bad legislation is bad legislation. But then what do I do about that? It wasn't my fault. I didn't pass the legislation that caused these poor people to lose their jobs, lose their livelihood, lose their homes, lose their families, shutting down businesses that live in those same communities that you destroyed. You keep basing laws and legislation off of fear, and that has been mentioned time and time again. We're doing legislation off of fear. Shutting down the coal and gas industry is based off of a fear that you cannot prove. As someone who studied atmospheric science for darn near 20 years, I can tell you right now, most of it's incorrect. But when will it stop? What do we do? What do we do with these people whose lives that through this legislation, through this home, under this dome, has destroyed? What do we do about that? I agree that we need to help them, because what else are we supposed to do? Let them wallow? Let them suffer? Continue to suffer? And I do agree with my other colleague that we do need to stop it at the source. We need to stop passing legislation that ruins people's lives and communities that you're not part of. If you're part of Denver, you don't understand the rural community. I don't have a rural community in my district, but I talk to those who do, and I listen, and I realize I'm not just an HG 16 representative. I'm a Colorado representative. I represent the entire state of Colorado because the decisions that we make here affect the entire state. So think outside your box before you cause the harm. And ask yourself, what will be next? Will it be something in your district that you care about? What are you going to do then when they come after that? A lot more thought process has to go into legislation. I know that this is only my second year here, but I've seen a lot of things happen that I just shake my head. And I think, my gosh, these poor people. What are we doing to them? I apologize all the time to my businesses in my community. Like, I'm so sorry for what the legislation here in Denver, in Colorado, what we have done to you, what we're doing to you, and what they're going to do to you.
Representative Kelty, back to the bill. Thank you.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't hear you.
Just back to the bill. Thank
Oh.
you.
Back to the bill. A bill that is needed because we've done so much harm in communities that you do not understand. I still don't know how I'm going to vote on this. But I can say the point that we are where we are right now, I'm ashamed of. And to those in Colorado, I apologize, and I'm sorry for what they will do to you. Thank you.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the comments. I just want to say I hear from you, I hear you, and I also want to say that I have heard this before, because a lot of what was brought up today is what I hear at town halls in my district. This bill is also what I heard from my district. It's a direct request from the coal transitioning communities in my district. And we are here now where the coal plants are shutting down across Colorado, and they are shutting down in my district. This bill does two things. It supports the coal workers in being hired immediately, and it supports community investments in public funds and allowing my community to use those investments immediately. And so I just wanted to say thank you for the commentary today. I believe that we all come here and do our best to represent our constituents to the best of our ability, and passing this bill would support me in supporting my constituents to the best of my ability. I ask for a yes vote on Senate Bill 52.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 52 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Please close the machine. With 45 ayes, 17 no, and 3 excused, Senate Bill 52 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1115.
House Bill 1115 by Representatives Basenecker and Stewart Kay, also Senators Roberts and Bright, concerning modifications to the prepaid wireless telecommunications service charges.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Please close the machine. With 52 aye, 10 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1115 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1182.
House Bill 1182 by Representatives Lindsay and Sukla, also Senators Kipp and Rich, concerning the continuation of the Veterinary Pharmaceutical Advisory Committee and in connection therewith, implementing the recommendation contained in the 2025 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies to repeal the Veterinary Pharmaceutical Advisory Committee.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1182 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1182 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Froelich and Ricks. Please close the machine. With 62 ayes, 0 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1182 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1096.
House Bill 1096 by Representatives Johnson and Frey, also Senator Rich, concerning access to direct primary care services for Colorado Medicaid members.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1096 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1096 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Lindsay votes no. Please close the machine. With 40 aye, 22 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1096 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1142.
House Bill 1142 by Representatives Taggart and Basenecker, also Senator Roberts, concerning child advocacy centers in cases of child maltreatment.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1142 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1142 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Please close the machine. With 62 ayes, 0 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1142 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to lay over the balance of the calendar till Tuesday, February 24th, 2026.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over until tomorrow, February 24th. Do we have any additional announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
The House will stand in recess until later today.